Captain Tom Adams couldn't believe his eyes. The ship floating in the dock before him looked like it belonged in a museum, not active duty. Its hull was covered in dents and patches. Some parts were clearly different colors, showing where repairs had been made over the years. The name Defiant was painted on the side, though the letters were faded and chipped. "This has to be some kind of mistake," Tom said, turning to Admiral Bennett, who stood beside him. The Admiral, a tall man with gray hair and a stern face, shook his head. "No mistake, Captain. The Defiant is your new command." Tom walked closer to the ship, running his hand along the rough hull. The metal felt cold and worn under his fingers. "This thing looks like it would fall apart if we tried to start the engines. It's the oldest ship still in service," Admiral Bennett admitted. 30 years old. It was cutting edge when it was built. 30 years ago, Tom said, not hiding his disappointment. "Why are we getting this relic?" The Admiral's face softened slightly. "You know why, Tom. The Alliance Council is nervous about humans. We've only been members for 15 years. The older species don't trust our methods." Tom understood. Humans had joined the Galactic Alliance after being discovered by a deep space exploration team. Earth technology had been primitive compared to Alliance standards, but humans had adapted quickly. Too quickly, according to some Alliance members. Humans had a reputation for breaking rules, finding shortcuts, and ignoring traditions. "So they're sticking us on the worst ship in the fleet to keep us out of trouble," Tom said. "To keep you out of sight," Admiral Bennett corrected. "Your orders are to patrol the outer rim. It's mostly empty space with a few trading outposts and mining colonies." Tom walked around the ship, studying it from different angles. It was small for a cruiser, about half the size of modern Alliance vessels. Its weapon systems looked outdated, with old-style laser batteries instead of the plasma cannons used by newer ships. "The pirates in the outer rim would blow us apart," Tom said. "They have better ships than this." "Then avoid them," the Admiral said simply. "Your job is to show the flag, not fight battles." Tom's communicator beeped. He checked the message and sighed. "My crew is arriving. How do I tell them this is our new assignment?" "They're all human, just like you," Admiral Bennett said. "Maybe they'll surprise you with their creativity." The first shuttle docked nearby, and 5 crew members walked out. Tom recognized Lieutenant Maria Wilson, his chief engineer. She was young for her position. Only 30, but brilliant with machines. She spotted the Defiant and her eyes widened. "Is that our ship?" she asked, hurrying over. Instead of disappointment, her voice held excitement. "Unfortunately, yes," Tom answered. Maria pulled out a small device and began scanning the ship. "Amazing. This is a Vraxian design. They don't make these anymore." "Because they're obsolete," Tom pointed out. "Because they're overbuilt," Maria corrected him. "The Vraxians always made things stronger than they needed to be. This hull is 3 times thicker than modern standards." Admiral Bennett smiled slightly. "See, already finding the positive side." More shuttles arrived, bringing the rest of Tom's crew. Lieutenant James Parker, the weapons officer, studied the laser batteries with a thoughtful expression. Security Officer Kate Brown walked the perimeter of the ship, nodding as if approving its defensible shape. Communications Officer Robert Johnson immediately began checking the sensor array mounted on the top of the ship. None of them seemed as disappointed as Tom had expected. "You have your orders, Captain," Admiral Bennett said, preparing to leave. "Report to the Outer Rim Station in 2 weeks. That should give you time to make the Defiant spaceworthy." After the Admiral left, Tom gathered his officers on the main deck of the ship. The interior was as disappointing as the exterior. The command center was small, with outdated control panels and worn seats. The view screen was tiny compared to modern ships. "Well, this is what we've been given," Tom said to his team. "I know it's not what any of us expected." "It's better," Maria said, surprising everyone. "Better? How is this better than a modern cruiser?" Tom asked. Maria activated a holographic display, showing the ship's schematics. Modern ships are optimized. Every space is used for something specific. But this old design has so much unused space. Look at these areas between the outer and inner hulls. They're just empty. James Parker joined her, pointing at the weapon systems. And these laser arrays are simple. We could modify them easily. Modern weapons are locked by security protocols. Robert Johnson nodded in agreement. The communication system is basic, but that means we can access the hardware directly. New systems are all software controlled. Tom looked at his excited crew, then back at the decrepit ship. For the first time, he began to see potential instead of problems. "Are you saying we could improve this ship?" he asked. Kate Brown smiled. "The Alliance gave us the Defiant because they think it's harmless. They think it will keep us humans out of the way. But they don't understand how humans think." Maria added, "We see this ship differently. We see what it could become." Tom felt a smile spreading across his face. The Alliance had meant to punish humans by giving them the weakest ship in the fleet. But perhaps they had made a mistake. Perhaps they had given humans exactly what they needed: freedom to experiment. "All right," Tom said, a new energy in his voice. "Let's see what we can do with this old ship. Maria, I want a complete review of all systems. James, check those weapons and see what we can improve. Robert, the sensors need upgrading. Kate, security systems." His officers nodded, already making plans. "The Alliance wants us to stay out of trouble," Tom continued. "But they didn't say we couldn't make some improvements to our ship. As long as we follow our patrol orders, what we do with the Defiant is our business." The crew dispersed, each heading to their area of responsibility. Tom remained on the bridge, looking at the worn captain's chair. He sat down, feeling the old cushion sink under his weight. "The weakest ship in the fleet," he murmured. "Let's see if we can change that." 3 weeks had passed since Captain Tom Adams and his crew took command of the Defiant. They were already 1 week late reporting to their patrol assignment in the Outer Rim. Tom knew he would have to explain this delay to his superiors, but he wasn't worried. What was happening on his ship was worth any punishment. Tom walked through corridors that no longer looked like they belonged to an old dying vessel. Panels had been removed from walls, revealing the spaces between the inner and outer hulls. These spaces now contain new equipment, some of it built from parts taken from the ship's original systems, some brought on board by crew members, and some created using the ship's small manufacturing unit. He entered the engine room and found Lieutenant Maria Wilson covered in grease, her head inside an open panel. "How's it going?" Tom asked. Maria pulled her head out and grinned. "Almost done connecting the new power system. Want to see something cool?" Without waiting for an answer, she pressed a button on her datapad. A diagram appeared, showing the ship's power grid. The original design had straight lines running from the main reactor to various systems. The new design looked like a spider web, with power lines crossing and connecting in patterns that made no sense to Tom. "What am I looking at?" he asked. "The old system wasted about 40% of the energy from the reactor," Maria explained. "One path, one direction. But look at this. We've created power loops. Energy that isn't used by one system gets sent to another, or stored in these capacitors we built from mining equipment parts." Tom studied the diagram. "Is it safe?" "Safer than the original," Maria assured him. "The old system would overload if one section took damage. This one can reroute power instantly, and we've doubled the output without changing the reactor." Tom nodded, impressed but also concerned. "This isn't in any Alliance engineering manual, is it?" Maria laughed. "Not even close. The Alliance would never approve this design. Too many safety protocols would be triggered." "Then let's not tell them," Tom decided. He had already made the choice to bend rules when necessary. The Alliance had given them a ship that couldn't perform its duties properly. They were simply making it work. He left the engine room and headed for the weapons section. Lieutenant James Parker was working with 2 other crew members, assembling something that looked nothing like standard Alliance weapons. "Progress report?" Tom asked. James looked up. "We've completely rebuilt the laser array. The original design had 6 heavy lasers that fired straight ahead. Powerful for their time, but too slow to track modern ships." He pointed to a strange crystal assembly. "We've split each laser into 12 smaller beams using these crystals. So instead of 6 big shots, we get 72 smaller ones. Not as powerful individually, but together they deliver more energy on target. And they'll overwhelm enemy shields," Tom realized. "Most shield systems are designed to block a few powerful hits, not dozens of smaller ones." "Exactly," James agreed. "Plus, we can fire in all directions now. We installed rotating mounts. The Defiant didn't have enough power before, but with Maria's improvements." Tom's communicator beeped. It was Communications Officer Robert Johnson. "Captain, we have a problem. Alliance inspection shuttle approaching. ETA 15 minutes. Tom frowned. This was unexpected. Alliance inspections usually happened on a fixed schedule, not randomly during assignments. "They must know we're late to our patrol area," Tom said. "Everyone, listen up. Implement Protocol Ghost. Now." Protocol Ghost was something Tom had created for exactly this situation. Within minutes, crew members were rushing to hide their modifications. Panels were replaced over the new equipment. Holographic projectors, originally meant for navigation displays, were reprogrammed to show images of the ship's original systems. The new weapons were hidden behind false walls. Tom met Inspector Drall in the docking bay. The Tarlaxian was tall and thin, with blue skin and 4 arms. All 4 held different scanning devices. "Captain Adams," Drall said coldly, "your ship was due at Outer Rim Station 15 days ago. Explain your delay." Tom bowed slightly, showing respect. "My apologies, Inspector. We encountered problems with the main engines. The Defiant is an old ship." "Indeed," Drall agreed. "I must inspect all systems before you can proceed." "Of course," Tom said, leading the way. "Though I should warn you, many systems are functioning at minimal levels." For the next 2 hours, Inspector Drall moved through the ship, scanning and recording. Everything he saw matched the original specifications. Old, barely functioning equipment that struggled to perform basic functions. The holographic projections worked perfectly, showing systems that appeared to be operating at only 60% efficiency. In the engine room, Drall shook his head at the reactor. "This power output is unacceptable. I'm surprised this vessel can achieve faster than light travel at all." "We manage," Tom said humbly, while Maria bit her lip to stop herself from defending her hidden modifications. Finally, Drall completed his inspection. "This ship is barely spaceworthy, Captain. I will recommend decommissioning after your current assignment." "We understand," Tom replied. "We'll do our best with what we have." After the inspector left, the crew gathered in the cargo bay, which had been converted into a workshop. Hidden beneath the floor were manufacturing units that could produce parts and equipment without relying on Alliance supply stations. "That was close," Maria said, wiping sweat from her forehead. "But we did it," Tom replied. "And now we can finish our work without interference." "Captain," Robert called from a communication panel. "We're receiving a distress signal. Merchant vessel under attack by pirates in the Vega sector." Everyone looked at Tom. The Vega sector was close, but responding would reveal that the Defiant could travel much faster than its specifications indicated. "How many pirate ships?" Tom asked. 3, Robert answered. "The merchant is calling for any Alliance vessel to assist." Tom smiled. His crew had worked day and night for 3 weeks. They had transformed the weakest ship in the fleet into something new, something untested in real combat. "Set course for the Vega sector, maximum speed," he ordered. "Let's see what our little nightmare can do." The Defiant's engines powered up, drawing energy from the modified reactor. The ship moved away from the station, slowly at first, until it was out of visual range. Then, with a burst of speed that would have shocked any Alliance observer, it shot into hyperspace. The weakest ship in the fleet was about to reveal its new teeth. The Defiant dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Vega sector. Captain Tom Adams leaned forward in his command chair, studying the scene on the view screen. 3 sleek pirate ships surrounded a large merchant vessel. The merchant ship's hull was already damaged, with burn marks showing where the pirates' weapons had hit. Pirates are using Black Star Guild ships, Lieutenant James Parker reported from the weapons station. Fast attack vessels with powerful shields. Their weapons can cut through standard hulls easily. They haven't noticed us yet, Security Officer Kate Brown added. They're focused on the merchant ship. Tom nodded. Good. Robert, send a distress signal. Make it sound like our engines are failing. Communications Officer Robert Johnson looked confused. A distress signal, sir. We're supposed to be helping them. We will help them, Tom assured him. But first, let's make those pirates think we're easy prey. Robert nodded and began sending the fake distress call. On the screen, one of the pirate ships broke away from the merchant vessel and turned toward the Defiant. They've spotted us, Kate reported. The large ship is coming to investigate. Good, Tom said. Everyone remember the plan. Make them think we're helpless until I give the signal. The pirate ship grew larger on the view screen as it approached. It was a modern design, sleek and dangerous, with weapons ports open and ready to fire. They're hailing us, Robert announced. Put them on screen, Tom ordered. Everyone look afraid. The screen changed to show the face of a Drexian pirate. His skin was gray and rough, with scars crossing his face. Sharp teeth showed when he smiled. Alliance vessel, the pirate said in a rough voice, prepare to be boarded. Surrender now, and your crew will be sold to labor colonies instead of killed. Tom put on his best frightened expression. Please, we're just a patrol ship. Our engines are failing. We can't even fight back. The pirate laughed, a harsh sound like rocks grinding together. The mighty Alliance sends its weakest ship to rescue merchants. This will be easy. The transmission ended. The pirate ship moved closer, a bright beam extending from its front section. They're using a tractor beam to pull us in, Maria reported from the engineering station. Her fingers hovered over a hidden control panel. Ready when you are, Captain. Tom watched the distance between the ships decrease. Timing would be crucial. Wait for it. Wait. Now. Maria slammed her hand down on the control panel. Instantly, the Defiant's power signature changed from barely functioning to fully operational. The hidden systems came online, drawing power from the modified reactor. When the pirate's tractor beam connected with the Defiant, Maria activated another system. Instead of being pulled in, the Defiant sent a massive power surge back through the tractor beam. On the view screen, lights flickered across the pirate ship as its systems overloaded. Their shields are down, James reported excitedly. Fire modified weapons, Tom ordered. Target their engines and weapon systems. James pressed a series of buttons. The Defiant shuddered slightly as its laser array activated, but instead of firing 6 large beams, dozens of smaller beams shot out, each targeting a different part of the pirate ship. On the screen, the pirate vessel seemed to be hit everywhere at once. Small explosions erupted across its hull as critical systems were damaged. Direct hits on all targets, James reported. Their main power is offline. Weapons disabled. Engines offline. Tom nodded, satisfied. The other pirates. They've noticed, Kate said. They're breaking off from the merchant ship and coming for us. The remaining 2 pirate ships abandoned the merchant vessel and turned toward the Defiant, firing their weapons as they approached. Evasive maneuvers, Tom ordered. The Defiant moved with surprising speed and agility for a ship its size, avoiding most of the incoming fire. A few shots hit the hull, but instead of penetrating, they seemed to be absorbed by the outer layer. Ablative armor working perfectly, Maria reported proudly. The special coating is absorbing the energy and dispersing it. They're trying to surround us, Kate warned as the pirate ships split up, one going to each side of the Defiant. Tom smiled. This was exactly what he had hoped for. Deploy the drones. James pressed another button. Hidden compartments opened along the Defiant's hull, and 12 small objects shot out into space. "What are those?" the pirate captain demanded, his face appearing again on the view screen. "What trick is this?" "No trick," Tom replied, dropping his frightened act. "Just a little something we made in our spare time." The drones, small devices cobbled together from spare parts, each carried a powerful electromagnetic pulse generator. They moved quickly toward the pirate ships, attaching to their hulls. "All drones attached," James reported. "Ready to activate." "Do it," Tom ordered. James pressed a button. The drones activated simultaneously, sending electromagnetic pulses through the pirate ships. On the view screen, the pirate vessels went dark as their electrical systems failed. "Both ships disabled," Kate reported. "All weapons and propulsion systems offline." Tom stood up from his command chair. "Robert, contact the merchant ship. Let them know they're safe now." "Yes, sir," Robert replied, sending the message. "They're responding. They want to know how we did that. They say the Defiant is known as the weakest ship in the Alliance fleet." Tom laughed. "Tell them we made some improvements." The merchant captain's face appeared on the screen. He was a Tyrellian, with green skin and 4 eyes that all blinked in amazement. "I don't understand," the merchant said. "Your ship disabled 3 Black Star Guild vessels in minutes. How is this possible?" "Human ingenuity," Tom replied simply. "We're good at making do with what we have." After ensuring the merchant ship could continue safely, Tom ordered a message sent to Alliance Command, reporting 3 pirate vessels disabled and ready for pickup by Alliance security forces. As the Defiant prepared to leave the area, Tom gathered his officers on the bridge. "Well done, everyone," he said. "Our modifications performed even better than expected." "The pirates never knew what hit them," James said with a grin. "And the best part," Maria added, "is that from the outside, we still look like the same old broken-down ship." "We should expect more attention after this," Kate warned. "The Alliance will want to know how we defeated 3 modern pirate vessels." Tom nodded. "Let them ask their questions. We've proven what humans can do with the right opportunity. The Defiant may have been the weakest ship in the fleet when they gave it to us, but now it's a nightmare for anyone who thinks we're easy targets," Robert finished. The Defiant entered hyperspace, leaving the disabled pirate ships behind. Word would spread quickly about what had happened here today. The Alliance's weakest ship had transformed into something unexpected, something dangerous. And this was just the beginning. News of the Defiant's victory over 3 pirate ships spread quickly through Alliance space. Captain Tom Adams wasn't surprised when, just 2 weeks later, his ship received orders to return to Alliance headquarters immediately. "They want to know how we did it," Tom told his officers as they gathered in the command center. "The question is, how much do we tell them?" "The truth might get us in trouble," Maria said. "We broke at least 15 Alliance engineering regulations with our modifications. But we also saved that merchant ship and captured 3 pirate vessels," James pointed out. "That has to count for something." Tom nodded. "We'll be honest about what we did, but we'll focus on the results. The Alliance cares about keeping their trade routes safe. We helped do that." When the Defiant docked at Alliance headquarters, Admiral Bennett was waiting. His face was serious as Tom stepped off the ship. "You've caused quite a stir, Captain," the Admiral said. "The Council wants to see you immediately." As they walked through the large station, the Admiral spoke quietly. "They're talking about court-martial, Adams, unauthorized modifications to Alliance property, falsifying inspection reports, operating dangerous, untested systems." Tom kept his face calm. "The Defiant performed exactly as needed. We saved lives. By breaking every rule in the book." The Admiral lowered his voice further. "Look, I'm human too. I understand why you did it. But the other species don't think like we do. They value rules and stability above results." Maybe that's why they're losing the war with the Dominion, Tom replied. The Admiral couldn't argue with that. The Dominion, a group of aggressive species from another part of the galaxy, had been attacking Alliance territory for years. Despite having better technology, the Alliance was losing because they were too slow to adapt. Inside the council chamber, representatives from 12 different species sat in a semicircle. They all looked serious, some even angry. The chief counselor, an ancient Valerian with pale white skin and 6 eyes, spoke first. Captain Adams explained these modifications to the Defiant. Our regulations exist for a reason. Untested systems are dangerous to crews and civilians. Tom stepped forward. With respect, Counselor, every modification was tested thoroughly before use. My engineering team calculated all possible failure scenarios. Without proper oversight, a Creelan representative shouted. His red face showed his anger. The same oversight that approves ships that consistently fail against Dominion tactics. Tom challenged. The Alliance faces an enemy that adapts quickly. We need to adapt too. For the next 3 hours, the Council questioned Tom about each modification. He explained how they had repurposed outdated systems, combined technologies in new ways, and created new capabilities from spare parts. Your weapons modifications are particularly troubling, one counselor said. Splitting the beam reduces the safety features built into our laser systems. It also makes the weapons more effective, Tom replied. Pirates don't care about Alliance safety regulations when they attack our ships. And these drones with electromagnetic pulse generators, another counselor added. They could be used against Alliance vessels just as easily as against pirates. Any weapon can be used against its maker, Tom said. The question is, do they work? Do they help us protect Alliance citizens? The answer is yes. The debate continued, with some counselors arguing for harsh punishment and others suggesting that the results justified the methods. Throughout it all, Tom remained calm, explaining each decision his crew had made. Finally, the Valerian chief counselor raised a hand for silence. Captain Adams, please wait outside while we discuss this matter. Tom left the chamber and found his crew waiting anxiously in the hallway. How bad is it? Maria asked. Hard to say, Tom answered. Some of them understand what we did and why. Others are stuck on the fact that we broke the rules. But we proved the modifications work, James said. They can't argue with results. Actually, they can, Tom said with a small smile. That's what bureaucrats do best. An hour later, Tom was called back into the chamber. The counselors' faces gave nothing away as he stood before them. The Valerian spoke. Captain Adams, while we cannot approve of your methods, we cannot argue with your results. The Defiant will undergo a complete safety inspection. Any modifications deemed truly dangerous will be removed. Tom nodded, hiding his relief. This was better than he had expected. But the Valerian wasn't finished. However, we are establishing a new innovation division within the Alliance fleet. Your crew will lead it. Tom couldn't believe what he was hearing. The Alliance needs unconventional thinking, the Valerian admitted reluctantly. Perhaps humans have something to teach us after all. As Tom left the chamber, Admiral Bennett fell into step beside him. Congratulations, or maybe I should say, I'm sorry. They're going to watch everything you do now. Tom smiled. They can try, but first, we need to get back to the Defiant. My crew was working on some new ideas before we left. The Admiral shook his head but couldn't hide his own smile. You humans never learn, do you? We learn all the time, Tom replied. We just don't always follow the expected path. When Tom returned to his ship, he found the crew gathered in the cargo bay. They were working on something new, a device Tom didn't recognize. What's this? He asked Maria. We've been studying the Dominion shields, she explained. They use a quantum algorithm that predicts energy weapons and adjusts to block them. That's why conventional Alliance weapons can't penetrate them. And you think you found a way around it? Tom asked, already knowing the answer. Maria grinned. We're calling it a quantum mirror. In theory, it could reflect the Dominion's own weapons back at them, but with an inverted quantum signature that their shields would recognize as friendly fire. Tom looked at the device, then at his excited crew. The Alliance had given humans their weakest ship, hoping to keep them out of the way. Instead, they had created a platform for innovation that might change the course of the war. The new Innovation Division is going to need a flagship, Tom said. I think the Defiant will do nicely. As the crew returned to their work, Tom couldn't help but smile at the irony. The weakest ship in the fleet had become the Alliance's best hope for victory, and it was only getting started. 6 months had passed since the Defiant became the flagship of the Alliance's new Innovation Division. Under Captain Tom Adams' leadership, the ship had continued to evolve with new modifications and improvements. The Alliance Council had reluctantly approved many of their changes, though they still didn't know about everything hidden within the ship's hull. The Defiant and Tom's crew had spent these months testing their newest creation, the quantum mirror technology. Maria's team had worked day and night to perfect it, and now they finally believed it was ready. But they hadn't had a chance to test it against actual Dominion weapons. The Dominion fleet had been quiet recently, gathering strength for something big. Alliance intelligence reports warned of a major attack coming soon, but no one knew where or when. Tom was in his quarters reviewing supply requests when the ship's alarm sounded. Captain to the bridge. Robert's voice called over the intercom. Emergency. Tom rushed to the command center. On the main view screen, a tactical display showed a terrifying sight. 30 Dominion warships had crossed the border into Alliance space. They broke through the defensive line at the Veridan sector, Kate reported. 3 Alliance outposts have already been destroyed. The fleet is mobilizing, but they'll take hours to respond. Tom studied the display. What's in the Dominion's path? 2 civilian stations and a colony world, Robert answered. Millions of people. Tom made his decision instantly. Set course for the Veridan sector, maximum speed. Alert all crew to battle stations. Sir, James said carefully, that's 30 Dominion warships. Even with our modifications, we're just one vessel. Tom nodded. I know, but we have something they haven't seen before. It's time to test the quantum mirror for real. The Defiant jumped to hyperspace, pushing its modified engines to their limits. In the engine room, Maria monitored the new systems carefully. They were exceeding the ship's original speed capabilities by 4 times, but the reinforced hull held together. Alliance Command is hailing us, Robert reported as they traveled. They're ordering all ships to gather at Sector 7 before engaging the Dominion. Tell them we're conducting a reconnaissance mission, Tom replied. We'll just take a look and report back. It wasn't exactly a lie. They would look at the Dominion fleet. What happened after that would depend on whether their new technology worked. When the Defiant dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Veridan sector, they immediately detected the Dominion fleet. The massive warships were moving in perfect formation toward their targets. They'd spotted us, Kate announced. 3 ships breaking off to intercept. Tom smiled. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Sir, James looked confused. We need to get their attention, Tom explained. Maria, is the quantum mirror ready? Maria nodded from her station. Ready, Captain. But we've never tested it against actual Dominion weapons. No time like the present, Tom replied. He addressed the whole crew through the ship's communication system. Everyone, this is what we've been preparing for. The Defiant was once the weakest ship in the fleet. Today, we proved that human ingenuity can transform weakness into strength. The 3 Dominion ships approached rapidly. They were huge compared to the Defiant, each one at least 5 times larger. They're charging weapons, James reported. Hold position, Tom ordered. Let them fire first. The crew watched anxiously as the Dominion ships came into range. Then, as one, the enemy vessels fired. Bright beams of energy shot toward the Defiant. Quantum mirror activated, Maria called out, pressing a series of controls. A shimmering field appeared around the Defiant. When the Dominion weapons hit it, something amazing happened. Instead of damaging the ship, the energy beams reflected back toward the Dominion vessels. But with a subtle difference. Their quantum signature had been inverted. The Dominion shields, programmed to block enemy fire, allowed these beams to pass through, recognizing them as friendly. All three ships took heavy damage from their own weapons. "It works," Maria shouted, excitement in her voice. "The quantum mirror works." "Target their propulsion systems," Tom ordered. "Fire conventional weapons." James pressed his controls, and the Defiant's modified laser array fired. Dozens of small beams struck precise points on the damaged Dominion ships, disabling their engines. "The main Dominion fleet has noticed," Kate warned. "They're all turning toward us now." Tom nodded. "Good. That's what we want. They're not attacking civilians while they're focused on us." "Sir, Alliance Command is hailing us again," Robert reported. "Admiral Bennett wants to know what we're doing." "Put him through," Tom said. Admiral Bennett's face appeared on screen, his expression a mixture of anger and concern. "Adams, what are you doing?" "You were ordered to rendezvous with the fleet." "Testing our new technology, Admiral," Tom replied calmly. "And it works. The quantum mirror can reflect Dominion weapons back at them." The Admiral's eyes widened. "That's impossible." "Watch the tactical display," Tom suggested. "We're about to demonstrate on a larger scale." The remaining Dominion ships had formed a half circle around the Defiant, preparing to attack together. "Now, James," Tom ordered. James pressed another control. From hidden launch tubes, dozens of small objects shot out from the Defiant. "What are those?" the Admiral asked. "Mini-mirrors," Tom explained. "Smaller versions of our quantum mirror technology, designed to attach to enemy ships." The small devices spread out, attaching themselves to the hulls of the Dominion vessels. When the Dominion fleet fired at the Defiant, their weapons' energy was caught not just by the ship's main quantum mirror, but also by these smaller devices. Energy beams bounced between ships, creating a web of destructive fire that the Dominion's own shields allowed to pass through. Within minutes, the mighty Dominion fleet was in chaos. Ships fired randomly, trying to destroy the devices attached to their hulls. Others attempted to retreat, only to find their engines disabled by precision fire from the Defiant. "Launch the boarding drones," Tom ordered. Another set of devices shot out from the Defiant. These attached to the Dominion command ships and began overriding their computer systems. On the view screen, Admiral Bennett watched in amazement. "Adams, how did you do this?" Tom smiled. "We didn't see a useless old ship, Admiral. We saw potential that no one else recognized. The Defiant isn't special because of its technology. It's special because humans refuse to accept limitations that existed only in regulations and tradition." Within an hour, the battle was over. The Dominion fleet that had threatened millions of Alliance citizens was neutralized. Some ships were disabled. Others were under Alliance control through the boarding drones. When the Alliance fleet finally arrived, they found the Defiant, once the weakest ship in the fleet, floating among the wreckage of the most powerful enemy the Alliance had ever faced. As news spread throughout Alliance space, the story grew into legend. The humans had taken a forgotten, outdated vessel and transformed it into a nightmare that had single-handedly changed the course of the war. And it had all started because someone thought giving humans the weakest ship would keep them out of trouble. They couldn't have been more wrong.